Darren Rovell with Collect TV, and one of the segments of collecting that I am so in love with is tickets, and joining me now is Matt Fuller, the head of authentication at PSA.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Darren.
We talk a lot, but now we're talking in front of the camera. What have you seen kind of like from the sector this year? Last year, I think it grew by like 43% or something like that, and it was the second fastest growing category for PSA. Are we still on trend for another year increase despite the boffo year last year?
Yeah, from 2023 to 2024, the only category inside of PSA that had better year-to-year growth were basketball cards, modern basketball cards. So
Right.
Ticket was a close second. Great year in 24. 7 completed months into this year now in 2025, and trending to have another year to beat the prior year. So from 2017 on, 18, 19, 20, so on and so forth, until now, it's grown every year. We've shipped more tickets than the year prior every year. So there's no shortage of collectors. There's no shortage of crossover. Tickets are so great because whether you're into entertainment, sports, if it was a ticketed event, for 100 years, the last 100 years, there's a ticket out there for that event. So whether you want to match it with a card or a photo or anything of that nature, you can find a ticket for that.
This might be a little bit more anecdotal, but do you see different people coming in instead of like the same guys submitting more tickets?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, there's the OGs, as I like to call them, that have been collecting and submitting tickets for years and years and years. But it's nice for me to see when we get ticket submissions that come in, I don't recognize the name. I've never heard of them.
Right.
And that's person after person, and it never ends. But that's good. That's what we need. That's how you create the growth of the category to keep going.
Part of ticket grading is for people from cards to cross over to tickets, and they don't really understand it. You do have the fact that some of these are so scarce that it doesn't matter what it is, but they'll often think something is perfect and they'll get a 5. How do you explain ticket grading to someone who is just switching over from cards or just wants to try out a ticket and then gets it back and is like, I don't get it?
Yeah, I think that's a conversation a lot of people want to have, and they don't necessarily understand it. But and maybe not so dissimilar from cards with tickets. We have modern tickets and we have vintage tickets, right? You have full unused tickets and you have stubs, which are used. Stubs, you may see a lot of common grades of 1, 1.5, 2, and 3. Look, tickets were meant to be handled. It was in a lady's purse. It was in a gentleman's coat jacket.
And ripped to shreds by ushers. I mean, we always joke, it's like, what were the Pittsburgh Steelers ushers in the 70s doing and the Boston Celtics in the 80s? It's like these guys, I don't know, you can't even find your seat number.
Yeah, I mean, the Boston Garden especially. I mean, they leave you with a little nub like this trying to figure out what the ticket is. But don't get too caught up in the grade, no matter what you chase. A lot of tickets, when teams into the 2000s kind of issued PDFs, right, or print your tickets at home, and now we have mobile ticketing, and teams still issued season tickets up until the pandemic had started. Those are going to grade a lot nicer because they weren't handled, right? They were in ticket books, and you perform your open heart surgery to rip the perforations and top load the ticket. Those are the ones that are going to grade 8, 9, and 10. But if you have a stub, and especially if you're into vintage tickets, don't get too caught up in the grade. The fact that it exists is something that like-minded collectors like us should be thankful for.
And in cards, it is seemingly all about the grade. And in tickets, there are people that have a certain ticket. And, personally, in some big events, like I want a stub potentially. That's right. I want it to have been in the stadium. The card people come and they often have fulls only. So it's kind of like sometimes there's writing on the back. Sometimes we say that's good. So what have you seen there in terms of like what people generally want? We know when the card people have come into it, it has been usually a full, and I want to buy the highest grade.
Yeah, and I think there is that a lot of that checks out. If you're a lot of the younger collecting crowd, if they're crossing over into tickets and they like chasing modern players and modern players cards, they want tickets that align with that. They like them signed. They like them full. They like them nice. They want them to grade well, right? the old school vintage collectors, they don't care. That's the type of person I am. If somebody threw a no-hitter and on the back of the ticket somebody put in pencil, no-hitter, that's great. It's all part of the story. You know the ticket was there. You know that ticket was in the stadium. You can't beat it.
Right. All right. Tell me some of the good ones that we have seen.
I'm gonna pull my phone out here. I got a little list of some things that should blow some folks away. I'll lead with this. To me, and the entire team, really, the best ticket that we saw was May 1st, 1951 at the White Sox, which was Mickey Mantle's first home run. So there's been bounties on the ticket for years and years. Nobody had ever seen one. Asked all the old school Chicago White Sox collectors, nobody ever saw one. So opening days, not incredibly common, but there's no real shortage of them. Opening day ticket, right? Easy.
So did this have anything to do that it was in Chicago? Was the person from Chicago, or was it an old ticket collector?
I'll say this. I did not recognize the name of the person. Not sure if he's a ticket collector. I'll tell you he was local.
Right, which is so great. That's what's so great about it.
The magic of the National and being in Chicago and parlaying all those things together, it's pretty neat.
Okay. We did hear a story from guys that there was 2 Walter Payton tickets, Game 3 of the 1975 Bears season, and the guy knew it was that and still sold it for $250 each in Chicago.
The buyers should consider themselves very lucky for that price. We had a couple Walter Payton debuts submitted to us here. Couple of Hank Aaron debuts. One ticket, not incredibly significant, I thought was funny. So it was July 30th, 2025, just a couple days ago. It was Oasis in Wembley. So the customer, also from London,
had flown here and been here and literally just left the concert and come here to the National.
3 days later, it's here. So I think.
Now,
that's
have
funny.
you had the Coldplay CEO HR hug?
You know, it was funny. Like as soon as
I want that. Hey, I want that ticket. If anyone has that, I'm going to pay top dollar for that ticket.
I'm sure if there is a ticket for that, we will eventually see it.
Okay,
being,
that's the one that I want.
Rolling Stones' first U.S. concert, 2 of them.
Yeah.
There was a full and a stub. But we had never seen one prior, so always very cool. Anytime you get a band like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let go his name because he's my friend, Barry Slotnick. He's been waiting for this. He's a great Rolling Stones collector. He has mostly posters. I knew he had both of those, and I knew they were both outrageous. So, yeah, really cool.
Anytime you get a band like that with a cult-like following, I mean, first U.S. show's pretty unbelievable. A full Nolan Ryan debut signed.
Okay.
So
now, I'm going to interrupt you for a sec. What do you think of signing? So I'll give you an example. I saw our guy Mike Violi, who has the Buster Tyson signed. I mean, Buster's a little tough. Tyson signs everything. I don't know if I want that. I might want the full Japanese. What are your opinions in general on signing when you can get someone? Do you automatically sign it?
I mean, me personally, no, but I really do believe that question is to each their own, right? If you're into autographs and you want to get your ticket signed, feel free. You know, some look really nice, some don't turn out so nice, but it truly is to each their own.
Okay, keep going. Anything else?
Yeah, I think we talked about this, but this was pretty cool. So 1977 Jazz, it was signed by Pistol Pete, and it was his career high 68-point game.
Yeah, never seen that.
Pretty sweet. You don't ever see the Pistol on any ticket. You'd mentioned the signed Douglas and Tyson fight ticket. Very cool. We had 3 more red versions, stubs, of the Michael Jordan NBA debut. So. I mean, again, I think that's national, and it's Chicago, some local folks.
That's one of the things that, as a ticket guy, you have to consider when there are some kind of big populations of things that come in. I am frankly surprised at the Jordan debut now being over 60. I think a population of over 60 total. I would have been upset if I was an early buyer in, and now, you're going to see Heritage has an 8 and a 5, I think, and I don't know, that is like something that you always have to watch. I still can't believe how many, Babe Ruth cold shots there are. How is that,
Right.
But yeah, no, it's there are so many nuances, and I think really people feel like tickets are something a little bit different against the background of just collecting cards.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give you a couple more. I'll rattle off a couple more. There was a full Thrilla in Manila.
Wow, that's good.
You don't ever see that.
And you only see the press tickets. You see a lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And 2 Sandy Koufax debuts, 1 signed.
Okay.
So those are not common.
You think the focus is still on debuts driven by card people? I mean, again, that was something that not I miscalculated, but I just don't. It doesn't excite me, right? Like, Tuffy Rhodes hitting 4 home runs on opening day in Wrigley excites me more than Mark Grace's debut.
I agree, and really you could just cut
Are you
it
that
right
way?
in the
Are
middle.
you that way? Are you,
I'm a give me the significance, give me the moment,
Right.
give me the memory. That's what I want. But there really are just 2 sides to tickets. It's quite simple. And debuts, it's the rookie card of tickets, of course, right? Everybody wants the first. That helps a lot with the crossover as well. If you're into rookie cards, get into debut tickets. But you have your debuts and you have everything else.
I don't think anything says growth of tickets more than PSA opening an office in Plano.
Yeah.
What does that say to you? I mean, I'm sure it's exciting to you guys.
Yeah, I think that really is a credit to the work we've done at PSA, the growth of the category. I've kind of joked with some folks. If you'd asked me 2, 3, 4 years ago, do you think that PSA would ever have their sole standalone operation for the ticket category, I probably would have laughed. But
I would have laughed too.
The growth we've seen, wanting to increase the turn time, get folks back their items more. That's what it's all about, right? It's always price point. It's always the speed. So having that standalone operation, having designated experts that work on the same category every day, you will see much quicker turnaround times.
Matt Fuller, the head of ticket authentication at PSA. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Darren.
Appreciate you.
Yep.